In the months immediately following Hazbin Hotel's release, I saw a lot of videos ranking the songs of season 1. I don't know if it's just my personal algorithm that's been deprioritizing those for me, or if people have largely stopped making them, but I'm not seeing as many as I used to. I went back and forth on whether to make this, and when it became clear that one way or another I was going to make it, I went back and forth on how to make it. I've seen a fair few that analyze the songs from a musical theater perspective, and while I know some of the basics, I couldn't do a whole video on like what key something is in and why that matters, you know? I thought about doing one that counted down based on which ones I personally enjoyed the most, a very vibes-based ranking. The problem with that is it doesn't bring anything new to the discussion, so I didn't want to keep doing the same thing everyone else has been doing this whole time. I do, as it so happens, have something to add to the discussion from a perspective that I haven't seen go around too much. I'm going to rank the songs based on how effective they are in telling the story of Hazbin Hotel. There's a saying in musical theater that the music is used to elevate and dial into the big feelings that the characters are experiencing. They talk until that doesn't do enough to convey their feelings, at which point they burst into song. And then they sing until that doesn't do enough, and they begin to dance. In some ways, this description is strictly applicable to musical theater. No other art form follows quite this pattern, but in other ways, it's broadly applicable. As story elements get more important, as character feelings and conflicts grow more intense, as the ideas become more complicated, the storytellers pull on a number of literary devices to convey what's going on. If your character is experiencing something uncommon, you might use a metaphor to help the audience liken what's going on to something they might have seen or experienced, making a connection. In Shakespeare's writing, he has nobles speak in meter and peasants speak in prose, thereby elevating the speech of the person of elevated status. Magic spells are often written in rhyme, elevating the language and imbuing it with magic. In short, this video will treat song like any other literary device that's used to convey story and push it forward. My ranking system is based on a few factors, all of which circle back to the basic storytelling elements of characters and plot, the people who the story's about, and the things they do and that go on around them to impact their agendas. The more storytelling a song does, the better I consider it to be for the purposes of this list. I've tried not to be too biased by how much I enjoy one song or another. As a result, some of my favorites to just listen to are ranked surprisingly low. It doesn't mean I love them any less, just that they're not quite as narratively effective. So, with the ranking system established and 16 songs to cover, let's start with number 16, Welcome to Heaven. Welcome to Heaven. Most of the lists I've seen put this song at or near the bottom. I also don't like it very much, but that's not why it's at the bottom. I put it here because it doesn't add much to the storytelling. As I was going through the process of ranking these songs, one question I returned to a lot was, what does this song do? This song seems to have two purposes, and I believe they're both redundant. First, it introduces a new setting that's foreign to us, the viewers, and to Charlie, the main character.
With a virtuous reside 24/7. Oh, people are happy that they died.
Generally speaking, new locations in this show don't get their own songs when they're introduced. Charlie and our other point of view characters go to lots of places, like the Overlord's meeting, Valentino's studio, and Cannibal Town, but none of these are introduced like this. Some of these introductions are elevated in other ways, like the change in point of view at the Overlord's meeting, having us follow Frank for a minute rather than Alistair, whom we had been following. This gives us a sense of being out of our element, surrounded by the biggest, most important figures we've seen so far. And that really says something about the relative status of Serpentius, regardless of how he sees himself. I'm not trying to be uncharitable, and I do think that if you're going to introduce a location through song, it would be heaven, but I also think that watching Charlie's reactions to what she's seeing is a better introduction than the song.
So clean! Isn't that amazing?
Look how excited she is.
Did you see the ice cream shop? They had sprinkles made of rainbows!
This is actual footage of me going to Japan for the first time.
OMG, can you imagine an actual koala? Ah!
It's more effective because we have a main character reacting to things. You get a sense not just of what's in the world, but of how the characters feel about it. We don't really get that in Welcome to Heaven, even as St. Peter rattles off all the things that make heaven great.
We got the best and brightest, the politest of the lot, and everyone is hot.
Speaking of St. Peter, why is this a St. Peter song? He's barely a character. He has like 2 minutes of screen time total, most of which is spent singing this song. So we're definitely not following his character beats. The other thing this song tries to do is show Charlie that she's unwelcome with such lines as,
"Of course it is just temporary, I'm sorry you can't stay,"
and
Please keep your brimstone off the floor.
however, this too was done before and done better in the previous scene. As Charlie tries to attend her meeting and St. Peter responds like this,
Oh, fuck! Yeah! Oh, yikes, am I right? Are you sure you're the right place? Because I think you might be a little lost.
it's very clear to the audience who she is to them and what they think of her. There just isn't any need for this song to be in this show. Now, that felt really mean, so I'm gonna end on a couple of things about this that I really like, not because they add anything to the storytelling, just because they're thematic. There's a nice callback to the opening number when they sing,
Every single day in heaven is a happy day.
it's a direct response to Charlie hoping for a single happy day in hell, providing a moment of contrast within the pre-existing language of the show. It also sounds different to the songs we've heard so far, with its electric organ backing, which is an allusion, of course, to church music. So genuinely, even the song at the bottom of the barrel isn't totally worthless. I just don't like it and don't think it adds anything to the story. So let's move on. At number 15, we have More Than Anything reprised.
more than anything.
More Than Anything reprised has a couple of problems which are both very fixable. The petty one that I wish I could ignore is that they make Erica Henningsen sing too high. She can't hit these notes comfortably.
Need you to know I love you more than anything.
We hear the same problem in the main song, More Than Anything.
I need to save my people more than anything.
It's just out of her range, and you can hear her strain to get them. This isn't an indictment of her as a singer. Everyone has their range. I certainly couldn't get these notes, and when she's in her range, she sounds amazing, as we'll see in the rest of these songs. I mean, listen to her voice waft over the crowd in this clip. When she's given notes that she can reach, she's one of the best singers in this show. The other flaw of this song is that it's in the wrong place. Has-Been Hotel has a strict 2 songs per episode rule, and in this case, it's hindered by it. The main thing that this song does is cement Maggie and Charlie's bond before the big battle, but this isn't the moment when this confirmation would have had the greatest narrative and emotional impact. This episode 8 song belongs at the end of episode 7 when Charlie and Maggie reunite and reconcile after their fight. The lead-in would have to be a little bit different. As it stands, Charlie says, "I'm just so scared," and Maggie starts to sing about the progress Charlie's made towards her goals before transitioning into a love song. However, with a slightly different lead-in, the song could have gone here as Charlie and Maggie reunite after their errands of recruiting an army and getting weapons. Charlie gives her a souvenir and compliments Maggie's wings, and this is where they should sing,
Need you to know I love you more than anything, more than anything.
and then they go inside and steel themselves for the battle ahead. With this one change, the story is stronger, and I'd put it right next to the main More Than Anything in terms of storytelling. At number 14, we have Whatever It Takes. Just like the reprise of More Than Anything, this song has one fatal flaw. As I've already mentioned, song is one tool musical theater uses to elevate dialogue. Characters burst into song when their feelings can't be conveyed through talking alone. From that perspective, this song has a weak start. There are strong feelings in this scene, but those feelings aren't what start the song. Zestiel starts singing by asking Carmilla what's on her mind.
What weighs on your soul, old friend? I implore you to share the load.
And then we get to the strong feelings when she replies.
I always thought that I would keep blood off my face.
You see how that's out of order. This transition could have been strengthened by having Zestiel ask her or provoke her in some other way, and having her burst into song in a more authentic surge of emotion. However, we are already out of the section of songs that are just bad. That's really my only complaint about this song. The rest of it is pretty much fine. One thing that I really like about this song from a storytelling perspective is that it links Vaggie and Carmilla thematically before they meet in episode 7. They have similar feelings about family and loyalty to those you love, and this is established together.
And I don't know what we might face, but I know I can't replace you, so I'll do anything to save you. And I will try to make your dreams come true.
So their interactions in episode 7 feels more natural and cohesive. It also uses an element of instrumental storytelling that I think is really cool. There are 4 songs that use plucked guitar either throughout or in parts. And the feeling this instrumentation represents is protection, in this case of her daughters.
I always thought that I would keep blood off my face.
So that's something to keep tabs on moving forward. And our last one for this week, number 13, is Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry comes at a point in the story where Charlie discovers that she has been profoundly disrespected by Serpentius. She's already forgiven him for destroying her hotel's wall and invited him in to live with them,
And this is the new wall after you broke the last one, huh?
only to find out that he was spying on her for the V's so that they could undermine her operation.
Uh-huh. Then explain this.
Most people would be furious and would be correct to retaliate in some way. In fact, Vaggie and Angel Dust do just that.
Can't we just kill him, shoot him, and spill his blood?
However, Charlie doesn't. She reaches out to him and gives him yet another chance to do better.
But who hasn't been in his shoes? It starts with sorry.
This tells us something about our main character, that she's more than just her ideals. She's willing to put in the hard work of helping people to be better, even when it puts herself and her property in danger, even when others don't think it's worthwhile, and even when her clients don't believe in themselves.
Who could forgive a dirtbag like me? I don't deserve your amnesty.
The reason it's still pretty low on the list is that it's kind of boring to listen to. Beyond what I've already said, it's a repeat of a lesson that Serpentius learned earlier in the episode.
How to apologize. The first step to becoming a better person is to admit when you are wrong. Why don't you give it a try?
And it's just the same idea over and over for 2 minutes. And with that, we've already covered the 4 Has-Been Hotel Season 1 songs that I think do the least in terms of conveying story through character and plot. Next week, we have some real bangers, and I'm looking forward to working through them. See you then.